they have not, what's the word? They've not been too terribly impressive over their recent play. So looking at the immediate, I'm worried for Dark Zero. For the ban phase, to zoom in on that real quick, I think that DZ needs to maintain some kind of flank watch operator because it was such a crucial thing for DZ all the way through Villa.
Ooh.
And they're going to ban, really?
Nook.
Yeah.
Nook is a very strong operator on Chalet, and if memory serves me correctly, Dark Zero has brought out Nook a couple times.
They have.
I mean, you put Hyper on that role, why not? Assuming it was Hyper who played him. Memory is failing me as the amount of times we see it, but that bicycle helmet-looking mask of Nook will not be available. Thatcher will join Mira as well, and last ban, the conventional, probably Valkyrie, but Team One like to throw in a little bit of spice here and there.
So this has been played one time by DZ at this event, Chalet. It was played against G2, and DZ managed to win it. It was actually a very impressive win for them. Final ban comes out. That's going to be OneMine. However, that same DZ that we saw against G2, not necessarily here today. At least from what we saw in map number 1. On the side of Team 1, they have played this map once through this event. It was against Cyclops, and they also won that. So there's, isolated to this event, there's some good experience for both teams.
That was the crucial match, by the way, upon which they won.
Yep.
And made it into the group, out of the group stages into the playoffs.
That was the comeback, yeah.
A huge matchup. So,
well, Team 1 were carrying the momentum there, and they appear to be still carrying that momentum here.
yes. And Team 1 will have a date with Team Liquid tomorrow if they prevail here. Not a given, of course, but we will keep our eyes on it. Valkyrie goes unbanned. Wamai was the last operator banned out, and it's the 6th pick.
Yep.
So
I'm a little bit skeptical about leaving Valkyrie in play, Parker.
she's going to be exceptionally strong. And the region that I think has Valkyrie figured out the most is always Latin America.
Yep.
Lagonis will be on that role. Traditionally, he has not been the strongest of players in terms of fragging potential, but the good news is that you don't need to frag on Valkyrie. Her gadget is so critical and crucial for your team. As long as you're IGLing effectively off of them, it doesn't matter.
And Lagonis did, I believe, step up in the last match quite a lot. I mean, it wasn't him, of course. It was mostly the Levy show and Alimau as well. But across the board, there was contribution from everyone on Team 1. So, as we go to Dining Kitchen, an interesting site. It is clearly a heavy top floor roam. Lots of utility, surrogates, reinforcements, Valkyrie cams, the lot invested on the top floor. Kite Electroclaws. So Dark Zero has to figure out, okay, do we want to clear out top floor? Do we want to maybe just hit site directly? If we hit site directly, we have to worry about the vertical and the retake, which Team 1 are very good at. There's a lot to ask here if you're DZ. And these early rounds are very important, considering DZ lost that first map. Their momentum is going to be called into question here. It's weird when you don't have a teammate, right, sitting next to you, where you can just give him a fist bump and regain some morale.
You mean just like we did?
Just like we did.
Just like we fist bumped right now.
Yeah, they couldn't see it. Nobody can see it.
Yes.
We did do it.
It's very intimate.
And it's important. You know, it is. When you lose a round, to just turn to your left, turn to your right, and be like, oh, I've got teammates. They're here for me.
Now you heard a hail of gunfire to start off the round as there was tons of caliber-based destruction going on. Surrey Gates also opened up. As you pointed out, this is a kitchen defense, but a number of players from Team 1 are occupying that top floor in and around the bedroom. Levy in particular, who was a standout for so many rounds, and while he might not have been ultimate top frag on his team, he single-handedly won at least 2 rounds that I can recollect.
Well, we talked about the depth of Team 1 earlier. There goes the stuns. Lagonis will be affected, but there's nobody to follow up the stun, so and if it's really not that useful. Panbazou all the way over on the west side of the building, outside. Eclipse finally makes it in, and there is coverage from the windows as well. He's got support, but the gas canisters are forcing him up the stairs. Difficult fight to take, but he's doing it. He hasn't died just yet. C4 going out. He sees the Valkyrie, but won't land the shot. Pushing in on Levy, and down he goes. SMG-11 out. He's going to use it while it's still there. Nade pulled and ready to throw it towards Piano, but it's a pincer movement here. A cutoff from Hyper, and DZ pick up the first 2 kills. Neskin will answer back, though. As Hyper goes down, that's your player on Big Window Repel.
Well, Dark Zero's managed to take out the defenders playing up top, but how can you deal with a site execute now? Because that's the next step for you. 40 seconds remain for you to be able to pull this one off. Information will be gathered at this point. BC holds on to the diffuser as you come to expect. And a small rotate for KDS, but he's read like a book, and an opportunity seized yet again for Eclipse as Dark Zero continues to go up. Alimau runs out, though. This is a brazen move. They'll look to get him as he pulls back in, but there's a reinforcement there to stop him. From above, Eclipse doing some overwatch. Alimau realizes how tough of a spot he's in. He somehow managed to get out of there, but no, he doesn't see NJR on the window, leaving Neskin all alone. Firing through the wall, a 1v2. BC has that diffuser. He needs to go for the plant. He does just that. Eclipse has been mighty strong, but he's been down, and all he needs to do is get to BC on time, and Neskin with a monstrous clutch, just like in map 1. Team 1 take round number 1.
Wow. What a play there from Neskin, and that is despite the fact that we didn't see Alimau have any more success by West Lobby. By the way, I just have to say, he does the run out that Rin did, but it worked for him, and it's so silly that he got away with it. He did that run out because of the nade on the window. He had no other choice. Anyway, so obviously, DZ, a little bit of a choke there. They put themselves up way, way early, 2 players in advance, in the advantage, and they still cannot lock out a round. When they push in there, not a lot of time left. When they're hitting the site, Neskin is ready, and he's playing time very adeptly. He gets control of the player in the west hallway, and he can stop the defuse plan just before it goes down. Those kinds of plays, Parker, are why we have seen Team 1 make this miraculous run that they've had coming out of the groups into the playoffs. And it is so, what's the word? Confidence instilling? That
nothing's slowing them down.
Yeah, that nothing is slowing them down, that they're maintaining the momentum that we saw from yesterday.
I mean, I would be riding high after what happened 2 days ago against Cyclops.
Right, but what I'm trying to get across here is most Siege teams that are like Team 1, that are momentum-based, and they clearly are, that where, you know, the emotions matter a lot.
Yeah.
Most of those teams, when they are allowed to step off the stage and reset their mental, the momentum is gone. I've seen it countless times where the next day they're just a shadow of their previous self. And that is simply not true for Team 1, at least between yesterday and today. And that is confidence instilling. That's what I'm trying to get at.
All DZ already find themselves in tough right now at the present moment, as just Levy did too. Caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's punished for that.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much on the peak there, and you can see Neskin trying to recover some of this, but he's not going to be able to.
Traded off on the Valkyries. Lagonis now on the Kaid. As Neskin awaits Hyper to play around this corner, but I don't think Neskin can be spotted, at least from the angle that he's at. A single bullet from Hyper will announce his position, but Neskin doesn't want to engage in that. Probably rightfully so.
It's probably a fat finger. I don't think he really intended to shoot there. And that's why he went off the angle. Here's the push upstairs for the Yana. It's not a clone, and here come the bullets. Panbazou gets Neskin, and almost a second. Alimau put down to about 30 HP, and he'll get the heck out of dodge.
Really well played by DZ on the entry there, and they're just narrowing down the players from Team 1 as they continue to take more and more map control. Next one up for Piano is KDS.
Well, this is the same exact position we saw at DZ in the previous round, but this time they're going to add to it almost immediately. Down goes Alimau, and you've only got 120 left on the clock here. I mean, well, that's actually a lot of time for the attack. What I meant to say is it's too much time for the defense to play this off of time.
KDS is dropped down as Alimau gets picked back up. Lagonis is down below 2.
What?
This is a nice double nitro cell. Give me a break.
What?
And just like that, we're on even footing. This is also a garage defense, the least defendable site historically on this map. And all of the action has occurred spread out across the 2 floors other than the bomb site. It's unbelievable so far.
A cheeky kill here or there, maybe one for Alimau, and that is going to be a hard to recover round for DZ. If Alimau gets 1 kill and his teammates don't die before it, then this is going to be a Team 1 round because he's so low on HP. If he has any influence now, it means double any other player's influence.
Diffuser's in the hands of NJR in the final 30 seconds. DarkZone need to figure out where they're going to hit the site from. They are spread wildly with Panbazou watching from above, potentially on flank watch. NJR's over right now by Trench. Mouse still up there. He can drop at any point, and they'll need to be conscious of this. Lagonis misses out, though. He gets, or Panbazou rather, gets smoked, and another for KDS. Patrolling, and a third is in the books as the Sophia trudges on in, and it's a huge 3K from KDS. Back-to-back heroic efforts, first from Neskin and then from KDS, and Team One have broken the spirits of DarkZone.
Are we absolutely sure that Miracle does not in fact play for Team One? Because we are seeing some miraculous rounds here, Parker.
I don't even know what to,
The crazy thing is that they're back-to-back, as you mentioned. Normally it's one, out of a dozen rounds end up like the last two just did.
But they started off Villa doing the exact same thing.
That's the thing, yeah. And it's real crazy, Parker. It's actually bamboozling. No, but that C4 to start that comeback, and then DZ completely lost the plot, frankly. The weird thing is they started pushing towards Alimau almost as if they knew that he was in piano, and then they just stopped mid-track. And they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and funnel through the wine door and maybe send one through blue.
I don't even understand. I mean, they lost their hard breach, and that might have been the big deal as well. BC is the lone hard breach. They didn't want to quarrel with the actual garage wall, so they left it. But they had opened up some hatches that hadn't already been opened by Team One. So,
the other thing we're talking about Team One a lot here.
What are we talking about?
But we were discussing how the rounds we're seeing from Team One are crazy, right? And it's so odd to see them in succession. But the thing that is also worth noting is that if I'm a DZ player right now, my mental is absolutely chalked. I mean, think of the rounds they've lost.
Yeah.
Not just in this map, but in the previous map. It is just spiraling out of control. And it's weird because DZ's got to be thinking to themselves, we're doing everything right. What is going on?
This Team One team is becoming very formidable, and if I'm Liquid, I'm looking at this with great worry across my face. Liquid, the favorites for a lot of people in this event, and they have looked as strong as ever, especially today against Damwon Kia Gaming. But boy, oh boy, this Team One is just, they are right now playing on another level. They've ascended to a style of gameplay where it doesn't seem like anybody is able to shut them down.
Yeah, I don't think saying ascended is too dramatic. I think it's actually appropriate here because they, it's not to say that they're playing the best Siege. There's different interpretations of that, but they are playing their type of Siege, Team One's interpretation of Siege, absolutely flawlessly. And that is not something that every team can do day to day. So, Panbazou going to get that Prisma, and then you're going to open up the windows and library. Usually, the attackers clear out somewhere else before they start hitting library, but it appears to be a direct for DarkZone, and KDS will just leave.
Walk away as the X-Kairos go off by the wall, looking to Chimney inside a library and give them a nice long sight line, an angle to play off of.
Attackers have located a bomb.
He made the right call considering that wall got opened up.
It did, and yes, and they've completely fallen off. So you can hear some pinging going away from the Alibi clone. This Alimau's gadget buys them some more time. Team One now repositioning. They've got time at their disposal, half of the round to go. And an opening created right next to Alimau. KDS is the first casualty, though. DarkZone are doing quite well on these opening picks, but it's the late round where they have really struggled. This has been a problem for DarkZone in the past, and it seems like old habits are dying hard.
Well, that could be a good cut there. Alimau exposed, but he sees Eclipse, and he'll land the shots. Not Eclipse. Not the second follow-up, though. Eclipse looking for a different angle, and he's not going to find it. Neskin missing an opportunity and giving his position away as Hyper gets another kill for his team. But there, great pick from Neskin, and he sees the foot of another over by Chimney, but it's Levy to get the kill. The same target, two different players, and Levy gets a second with the pistol. Fighting back and forth here, and we'll end out in a 2 versus 2. But look at this. DarkZone have firm site control as NJR vaults into the main lobby.
NJR will have to be the one to stop any potential retake as BC gets the plant down. Levy is there waiting. There's some pings and some marks in. This can be capitalized off of Neskin. He's looking towards bar backstory, gives his position away. It's across from Levy. No way! How many clutches are these kids going to pull off, Michael? 3 in a row for Team One.
And a 4K for Levy to cap off that round. Wow. And look at their faces. Look at them. Oh, my. They could not be be more jubilant, and rightfully so. I mean, what is going on? You don't normally like to say that as a caster, mind you, but in this instance, it's really it's a fair question because we are seeing incredible round after incredible round out of Team One, to the point at which it's actually bringing into my mind, are they possibly one of the top contenders for the finals? I mean, if they can play this Siege through every remaining day of this event, then absolutely. But there's no guarantee that that is the case. And that's why we talk about the consistent teams, like Team Liquid, for example. Even when Team Liquid's having a bad day, they are still playing good Siege. Team Empire, when they're having a bad day, they are still playing good Siege. I have seen Team One playing bad Siege. When they're not in a good headspace, they do not play very well, and they are not going to be able to beat any of the remaining teams in this tournament, even if they get past DarkZone. So it's all about that headspace. It's all about that morale, that momentum. If Team One can maintain it, I don't think there's anything they can't do. At least that's my observation based on the Siege I'm watching right now. It's really incredible.
Objective is to defuse a bomb.
I am astounded. I am absolutely astounded with how and what we are seeing at the moment. It is...
Oh no, this one.
It's bananas. It's absolutely bananas.
Is he actually going to thread that needle through that tiny break in the barricade? Did they know that that would land where they want? We've seen this C4 before. Usually they open the whole window.
We'll watch with bated breath.
Doesn't appear to be anyone from DZ over there just now, but they are setting up for a Solarium take, and so there might be someone there later, and oh yeah, even Eclipse is running by it right now. Oh, if he gets a repel, but he's not in position to see it anymore. Lagonis just was not patient enough.
I mean, you burned 45 seconds just lying there. How much more are you going to commit to that?
They didn't even know he was lying there. It's just that's just DZ being slow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 1 minute off of the clock.
Yep.
And a perfect rotation for Team One. They seem like nothing is going to slow them down. They'll go back to the very first site where it all began, kitchen.
Solid site, I have to say.
On the main floor, you'll see a lot of teams invest up above, and Team One seems quite committed to have somebody playing on the bottom floor as well. So a really well put out spread. And DZ, excellent on their opening frags. The mid-round to especially the late round, very problematic for them.
So you're not going to be able to get the trophy control that you want if you're DZ because there's, I mean, Anchor's playing that position. Oh, he sees the head, but he doesn't pull this trigger, and it's going to be the leadoff for DZ once again, which they have been consistently getting, but an immediate answer actually at the same time, and Hyper goes down. So, even man count.
Tough circumstances for DarkZone to find themselves in as a team, but they're going to have to work together in a sharper fashion right now as Team One seem to be coming up in every opportunity. And look at this brazenness. Lagonis committed to going down swinging as he fires over towards Library. Panbazou walks away from that one with some damage on him, just as Lagonis did. It's opening from KDS still there. He can give some backup to his team, but he gets crushed by BC, who's in the site, by the way, and they don't seem to be any the wiser. That's not a clone, that's Panbazou himself, and Lagonis takes him down, and BC will continue to wander just above the site. At some point, he's going to need to drop, maybe open up a hatch. Eclipse is up there with the soft destruction as well as we hit the final 30 seconds of the round. Down the Solarium stairs towards Trophy, BC will wander, firing as deep as he can on in. There's one smoke to go out and greet him. That's the last toxic canister from Ali Mao that's been used as the Valk cameras give away BC's position. Neskin spotted out. That's the Legion down for the count, leaving Team One to trail. And it will get even worse as Ali Mao will have to be a maestro, but he can't do it. He can't conduct the symphony. And right now, DarkZone finds their very first round.
Great stuff there from DZ. They took it nice and slow. Burning out all the smokes on Trophy Window. Following that up with a Solarium take, which was not very contested from Team One. And then, once they had Solarium, let's just flood the rest of the roamers on the top floor. That works out great. No one from Team One was prepared for the clear upstairs, and they all got felled one after another. Then it's easy to transfer over to Trophy because you've already got Solarium. You just go down the staircase. Easy peasy. You're right there. And at that point, it was just DZ's guns being so very alive. And that vertical play from Eclipse. Beautiful stuff. As well, DZ, very importantly, for the first time in a very long time, they held their flank.
Managed to finally stick with it through the middle of that round and then continue to push forward, isolating the last remaining players of Team 1. But you know what? After so many rounds, the way that Team 1 was playing with that moxie and that confidence, it's not sustainable. Teams will over-peak, they'll overextend, they'll get too cute and take engagements, and even if they don't win the engagement or even lose it, they still give their position away.
I love it when you say too cute.
It made me feel really uncomfortable.
Good.
10 seconds left.
Okay.
It's okay, Parker. Don't worry, you're fine.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Thank you.
Keep calling him cute.
They get too cute, as in they shouldn't be doing it. They get cutesy. You know? They shouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And yeah, I mean, it's just not an ideal spot to find yourself in. Team 1 peaked a couple times a little bit too aggressively, and it hurt them for it.
I think that...
I mean, the 3 rounds that were won by Team 1 were all desperation clutches.
Yeah.
At some point, your luck has to run out, right? Right?
Well, that's what we keep talking about, though, with Team 1. That's what keeps getting brought up, is that Team 1, it's almost like their luck doesn't run out. At least that's what's been happening for the last, well, 2 days. So, I don't know. You're right, Parker, in the conventional sense. And that's why I said earlier, if Team 1 could keep playing Siege like the Siege we're seeing right now, then I don't know if there's anything that can stop them. But I agree with you, at some point, they won't be able to. Now, I don't know if we'd necessarily hit that point yet. That last round could just be a flash in the pan. DZ played it well. Team 1, again, as you said, they got a little cutesy, and it didn't work out. But that doesn't mean it's over. I really do want to see how long Team 1's lucky run can go. I mean, if it ended here, I wouldn't be surprised, but I want to know.
Who will be the first team to essentially vanquish them after their 3-0 run that they went on, especially that incredible tiebreaker, but we can focus on that later because right now, Dark Zero have their work cut out for them.
Yep. 2
rounds away from tying up with Team 1. Definitely possible. On a map like Chalet that we talk about and emphasize tends to skew towards the attackers on a lot of bomb sites, especially this downstairs defense, which, well, Team 1 pulled a rabbit out of a hat the last time they were here.
And this time, oh no, the tricking from the Electro Claw, and that's going to save the drop and connector. Huge Electro Claw there from Lagonis. It'll be a nade to destroy it though, just a second, and job done. So down it goes, and they should be able to open this up thanks to Hibana having a lot of that hard breach for the drops. Now, as we see DZ setting up, there's still roamers from Team 1, plenty actually, that could make some plays.
Look at how close Levy is to the action. All of this is happening in the main lobby, and he was playing up in kitchen. I don't know if that hatch was a strategic decision or not. Grenade will go up, and Ali Mao gets around it, and Panbazou done and dusted. Eclipse technically credited with the very first kill, though, as DZ clean up, but they battle back and forth. Dark Zero comes out ahead as a big double kill from Eclipse is enough. Hyper tries to go cross body as Ali Mao sees him, and now will drop. You can't let him get away, but he does. Hyper swings and turns and shuts down Ali Mao. KDS was the hero of the previous round, but he's going to look the wrong way here. Trying out duel 2 different players. He doesn't have his targets lined up appropriately, and DZ simply outmuscle him with the numbers they have. They're 1 round away from tying up the first half.
Well played there to DZ, and you can see the sheer quantity of caution being exuded by DZ's players, and I cannot blame them. They're taking everything baby steps, 1 at a time, just learning to walk. Let's not take any risks lest we fall over, because that's what's been happening to DZ. The first 3 rounds, they kept falling over. And a lot of it was due to Team 1. We cannot discredit them. But DZ now are making sure that both their heels and their toes are on the floor before they take their next step. And it's exactly what they need for this scenario. And it's netted them 2 rounds now. So well done by DZ, playing it cautious. Oh, and also playing it together. The 1v1s are not the answer against Team 1. They are not. So don't let them have any.
I mean, sustainability is the name of the game when it comes to the way that they were playing. You cannot rely on clutching a 1vx through these hero plays round after round after round, and yet Team One were pulling it off. They were able to pull it off back in the very first map on Villa, but that was a totally different ball game here. DZ seemed like they're more comfortable, and even though they had some stumbles, and Team One were able to win those rounds in the dying moments, DZ still looked like they were far better prepared than what we saw on Villa. See if it continues now, as this is the final defense for Team One, and DarkZero's last opportunity on attack.
I still do feel, though, that what Team One has been giving us in the rounds with where they're winning is some of the best Siege. It's incredible. On an individual level, not necessarily on a strategic or team level, but it's still awesome to watch. Hath the well run dry is the question, and the answer we will find out in just a bit.
You don't want to lose momentum if you're Team One. Funny enough, outside of the technical timeout that was taken back in Villa, there were no timeouts taken by either of these teams.
They want to go.
So, I mean, why would Team One do that? I don't know the circumstances surrounding whether DarkZero can. I assume that Mint is likely in their server, listening to their comms, but
they probably can.
I don't want to wrongly speculate.
Yeah, of course. I don't imagine they wouldn't be able to, but I do not know. That would be weird. Anyway, I think that they know what the problem is, and I don't think that they need to stop to fix it, frankly, because what we're seeing here is I mean, Team One are doing much the same stuff round by round, and you know, we just got to confirm, by the way, just in case everyone.
Same rules. Mint is there. He can call a timeout when he'd like, just as Team One can. So.
Yeah. So there's clarity on that point.
The option is there for them should they want it.
Oh, okay. So that's actually going to be an easy stop there from Levy, but he doesn't land the shot. I think the wall opens, yeah, but it's a little high, so he can continue to crouch, but Panbazou, what a shot.
DZ have been flawless on these opening picks. What a remarkable stretch for them. Just simply winning these early engagements, and Team One can be scrappy and fight back, but you can't stop. You can't continue to forfeit that first pick. You got to stop at some point because you just dwindle in numbers.
It's going to cause problems in the long run. And, I mean, we might see that if DZ managed to take this round, a 3-3 half, that's not too bad. I mean, this was looking a lot more desperate for a while there. 3-0 for Team One, and they looked completely dominant, even though they were clutching up those rounds. They just looked like nothing could stop them. Last two rounds, now this one, and suddenly that's all changed.
All this is a bar gaming defense. The same three sites used reliably by Team One. Top floor of bedroom does not brought out at all. For DarkZero, now they've got control of library. Continue to work away at the floor, and then you'll have to drop. A grenade goes down, tossed on in. Neskin falls as well just earlier on. Panbazou on 1 HP, so he will cling to dear life. If he touches that electrified panel, he's dead, by the way. But he dances so gracefully and swiftly around it. DZ will need to look for a plant with 20 seconds left to go. BC holds onto that diffuser, and he'll have to hop through the window, but sustains a lot of damage in the process and still hasn't rightfully made it so. NJR is down for the count. Panbazou's 1 HP follows. BC gets swung on. That's diffuser surrendered, so DZ will have to go frag hunting. They do just that, but a 1v1 between Levy and Hyper is left, and what a 4K from Levy as Team One takes the first half 4-2.
And that's his second 4K in this map, if I'm not mistaken. The man is going absolutely wild. And that's the Siege that we saw in the first 3 rounds of this map. It's the Siege that is ever elusive for so many teams the world over. It's just, it doesn't matter how poorly you play in your positioning, how poorly your strategy is, or your setup, or how poor your strategy is, or your setup. It's irrelevant because you have players like Levy who will just clutch up when the moment is right. And DZ completely collapsed on Team One. They were shattering Team One's defense there. And then Levy just walked from point to point to point and picked up 4 kills. I mean, we weren't watching him for some reason because apparently he needs to get his 3rd 4K before we focus on him in the team fights. But whatever wherever he happened to be during the fight, he was always winning it. And they were all isolated too.
Swapping sides now, the first half, 6 opening duels in favor of DarkZero, yet they only took 2 rounds. That's a grim statistic. The rotation for Team One was kitchen, garage, and bar. They went through that a second time around. This is a North American meta showing up for Dark Zero, which involves Frost being used extensively on this bomb site, which is Bar Gaming, the very first defense of Dark Zero. Those Frost mats will go down under the double window inside of Gaming, and then likely one will go up on the window inside of Library, as teams like to hold control of Library. It's a crucial part of the map, because once you take it as an attacker, you can then begin to flush out the defenders that are playing down below.
So I have a question for you here, Parker.
Absolutely.
Now that Team 1 are on attack and they set the tempo,
yes,
do you think that it's going to be better or worse for DZ? What did I miss? I was looking at you.
What did he just use to? Oh, it was to break the Aruni gate on the main door. I
was
so confused. And so are we again?
What?
Neskin walks in and picks up a two-piece, shut down only by Panbazou, who now needs to drop, surrendering control of Library, relinquishing the top floor. Goodness, what a single play from Team 1 can do.
I mean, frankly, DZ wasn't ready. And Neskin just walked in. They weren't on their shields. They didn't have their guns up. And, I mean, it's a blessing that Panbazou salvaged that, but he shouldn't have to salvage that. It shouldn't be that should be a free pick. That should be, oh, Neskin's dead because he walked into our prepared defense. We were deep into the round already. There's no excuse.
Just an absolute stunner. Panbazou on the ground was looking for another target, as he was the sole member of DZ to find their way on the board and fix the issues that his team had inherited after Neskin walked right in. I mean, it's your sledge.
Oh, how did he see Panbazou? And he lands a single shot, but that's continuing to chip away at Panbazou's HP. And considering what Panbazou's been capable of, you want to keep him as high as possible. Down goes Eclipse, the current top performer for his team, right next to Hyper, and now it's just BC and Panbazou.
Grenade tossed out. No target to be found. It'll go off. Panbazou needs to be very wary of this. The double reinforced panel will keep BC safe for now, but he'll be flushed out at some point. The numbers advantage for Team 1 is significant, and they will look to hang on to that as there's more destruction work from above. A grenade in hand for KDS, but he didn't know where it wanted to go, so lest he not blow himself up, he puts it back, goes over to the back bar, and gives his position away, but there's nobody to receive that as Panbazou tries to leave the site, but KDS punishes him for that. BC in a 1v4, he sees one target, but he's not successful. Another round for Team 1 as they march towards putting DZ in the dirt. 5-2 for them.
Wowee. I mean, at this point, you can kind of tell from DZ's play. Their mental is gone. And I don't think I've seen DZ's mental absolutely shattered in a really long time. Like, it generally does not happen ever, actually. I feel like if I were to go back and check all the VODs, I could probably count those times on one hand since DZ's inception. They are generally a pretty consistent team. They will go slowly up or down in terms of their performance, but they never fall out. And I mean, we don't know that that's the case right now, but that last round was pure negligence. 2 picks for free on someone pushing into your crossfire? You even had the heads up on the second guy. The call went out. It must have. And if it didn't, more proof in the pudding of the mental being chopped.
And no timeout taken either, by the way.
Yep, and they can take a timeout. That is 100%.
Are you going to take a timeout? If you lose this round, you're on that razor's edge. You take a timeout when you've only got 3 minutes to sort your stuff out?
It should have been last round. It really should have been last round. Well, it's you know, we are where we are, Parker. And we find ourselves in a situation where Team 1 are absolutely destroying Dark Zero, to be frank. And it's despite the excellent siege many of these rounds we are seeing from BZ.
Yeah.
They're giving us good strategy, they're giving us good setups. That last round was definitely a fluke. But it is, you know, it's an example of where we find ourselves as well. It is, DZ's not in their own headspace. They're not in a good spot.
Well, it sure looks like Liquid and Team 1 will tussle tomorrow, but this is really something. Ali Mao missing out on an opportunity from way deep below. There was a run out as well.
Scary there for, I believe, Panbazou for just a little bit.
it's not actually a run out. It's a Prisma that's been tossed out.
Oh, he's trying to bait.
It's to cover runouts as well.
Yeah, but it's not actually gonna get anything just yet. This angle from Alimao, by the way, real great. That's good to see just outside of the bathroom. You could see all the way at the top. This is one of the things that Buck can do that Sledge cannot, and this is why he is still relevant.
Levy right now on 10 kills, 4 deaths, playing on that flank watch role. As Neskin will drone on in and try to guide somebody towards the closet. Ooh. The Kaid just dancing around, but Levy's hesitation will cost him. Oh. But that one, nice shot onto Panbazou. Levy can swing on in and do some serious damage. A grenade goes off and it chunks some HP from both BC and Eclipse. Team One firing on all cylinders right now, and they've got the start that they wanted in this round.
DZ has to do something aggressive, spontaneous. They need to make a statement here, Parker. They need to stop this clear advantage that Team One has round by round. They are just slowly chipping away at DZ's defense, and they're doing it so confidently and in such a reserved nature that it's hard to counter. It requires their own brazen plays on DZ's side, and we're just not seeing that as KDS gets another pick for his team through the drone hole, double drone hole, onto NJR.
And that's your smoke down for the count. BC will join, and in the afterlife, they will witness what Eclipse and Hyper are capable of. A pre-placed Nitro cell that will await Alimao as he works his way down the stairs from Solarium into Trophy. And DZ are in a really hard spot right now, and a flawless round is certainly shaping up. All they have to do is find Hyper, and they will. KDS clutches out the round for his team, a flawless to move Team One to series point.
There must be a tactical timeout now. Either that or DZ just doesn't care to put that effort forward. Because, I mean, frankly, these last few rounds, I am not watching DZ versus Team One, Parker. And I hate to say it so bluntly, but there it is. Also, I mean, I want to this is very important. I want to pay credit where it's due. Team One are giving us incredible siege. It's just that I know that DZ can do the same thing, and they're not. That's what's the frustration, the frustrating point. I don't know. That double drone hole kill, by the way, that's a pretty standard angle. I'm surprised that we're drifting in front of that, opening up the opportunity. And it's the same thing for Panbazou. Why is he peeking the big window? You know someone's on rappel there. Your teammate had to have called that out because he made the cross in a way where he was obviously aware someone's on the window. So where's the communication? Where's the relay of information? Why is DZ not checked in?
Still no timeout taken by either team, by the way.
Yeah.
And boy, this is a celebration for Team One. Yesterday, the Brazilian fans spamming, I don't speak Portuguese, but it was something like, do you believe in magic?
Do you believe in magic? No?
10 seconds.
No.
Not right now.
That was 2 days ago, obviously, when they ran the gauntlet and managed to make it out of the group stages into the playoffs. And frankly, everybody continues to bet against this Team One squad, but time and time again, they surprise us. They had a rough start in their group.
Ooh.
Nice toss by BC.
Gigabrain.
Big brain there, and I would love to have seen Alimao's face as he ate that Nitro cell.
That's a good one. And that's practice. That's the routine. That's what we like to see from DZ, what we know we can see from DZ. Maybe this is the start of something special. But
I sure got one hell of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's 4 rounds in a row that DZ will need, obviously, to bring us to overtime. And even then, they need to win 2 in OT. It's tricky with the way that Team One have been playing. And, you know, to be considered, and this is, you know, I want to stress this as well. We brought it up a few times, but for those of you who maybe weren't here when we oh, hang on a second, air jab, and it's a run out here from DZ, and they get away with it. Oh, I like that they're getting like that, though. I like that they're taking risks because it's better than just slowly letting the enemy beat you. Levy, though, will get BC, and down he goes. Again, I was going to point out the fact that we do have 2 players on DZ who currently find themselves sick, and that is worth keeping everyone appraised on, because if you're not aware of that, it is an extenuating circumstance, and it could cause DZ to play worse.
In fact, their performance actually haven't been the issue so far today. Hyper has been consistent, and there you go. Finds Neskin, punishes him for it. Still down in kitchen as Team One have still a trail, but
Attackers have located a bomb.
there's work to be done for both of these teams. KDS will eat out a flash as Lagonis swings on in. Nobody from DZ to contest that. Levy will swing in as well as Team 1 just storms the gate. Hyper picks up his double kill though, and his position is unknown. As you can see, confusion from KDS. He sees the Aruni by Piano. The Hibana's there in tow, but Eclipse punishes both of them, and DZ get round 3.
I think Hyper got that kill through the hatch.
I believe so as well.
He was playing down below, and we saw there that Team 1 made the determination, hey, you know what? Site's clear. Let's go. And they went, but it just wasn't enough. Look at that C4.
Show me Ali Mao's face, please. I wanted to see it.
We're not going to see it.
I wanted to see it.
I'm sure it was a big O face. Anyway, Dark Zero, Signs of Life. Tickets sold at noon, $10.
Nice C4 BC. There you go. Called out. And
Respect paid.
Doubt you're going to see that one again.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so either. And even if it does come out, it's obviously not going to be useful, as it has now been read. Once you do it once, you may not do it again in the same match. And if you do, shame on the team that lets you.
What a coronation this has been for Team 1 over the last couple days.
Yeah.
You've made a ton of fans with their, well, that one video that was spread on social media of the elation and the joy as they won their match against Cyclops.
Yep. And they seem to be carrying that forward into this match.
They've been having fun.
They have been, yeah.
They are sitting in the studio with us, not too far away on the stage. I mean, quite far away, but theoretically not that far.
Not terribly. Not
Probably
far.
40 feet away,
Yeah,
50 feet away.
Not what we're used to. They're usually much farther.
20-ish meters.
The point is we can hear the cheering.
Yes.
We can hear the laughter.
They are in perpetual good spirits,
Yeah.
is the way to put it. They have not slowed down, and they are exceedingly happy at all times. And that's the right kind of attitude to have, and for good reason with the way that they've been playing.
Looks like they've got their serious faces on. I'm just looking over right now. Looks like they got their serious faces for... I mean, Dark Zero have won some rounds here. This is getting a little bit more tenuous, and I mean, nobody wants to let a match go longer than it ought to. So, obviously, the simple reasoning here is just, all right, let's focus up. Let's get this done.
Some late frost mats being set down by BC, as I don't know if he knew where he wanted to take them. One goes onto the big window. Library being held by Panbazou from above. He's potentially wary of somebody going towards Chimney, and that's where his attention was turned to. But Team 1 seemed quite committed to this library take. If they can find Panbazou, isolate him, and take him out of the fight, that would be particularly damning. And, well, Neskin, I hope that you enjoy your eyesight, because that one was particularly bright.
Yeah, that's... I mean, it doesn't end up mattering. It's a little bit fewer stuns for clear. And oh, this is going to matter as KDS goes downstairs and he is eliminated by Eclipse. Nori, thanks to this barricade. Alamau, you could tell, wanted to throw himself into that situation, but he just could not. And it's good forward thinking for Dark Zero, and they'll walk away from that engagement happy.
Hyper still creeping up downstairs. Nobody's down there right now for him to contend with. So while his attention is down there, the rest of Team 1 look elsewhere.
Oh.
No damage has been done since that ensuing fight onto KDS.
Might need another 4K from Levy for this one to lock out. He's given us plenty so far. Neskin is, I think, just dropping there. No, he's going to be trying for top control. So this is still a focus upstairs for Team 1. He's going to hit the Prisma, though, and it'll force him to reassess. He's now somewhat exposed due to those marks. Generally speaking, we don't see a lot from Team 1 in terms of control. And it looks like they're going for Library as we hit the last minute.
And there you go. First Cape fatality to fall is Eclipse. Alamau traded right off. NJR still playing over by Chimney. He's pinched, though, and Levy just walks right in and takes him down. At a 3v3 with the final push about to happen and unfold in front of our very eyes, Team 1 have the control on top, but they have to translate it to the site. Levy holding off a push on the library stairs. The one player that's currently offsite is Hyper. He was spending most of the round down in the basement lurking, but his return to the site could be swift and particularly damning. Neskin taking out the 4, and he sees the Jaeger of Panbazou, but he can't capitalize as Panbazou relocates. His eyes are going to be trained close to BC with Hyper still in this particular position. This will be a tough shot for Hyper to make, and Neskin might walk right into it. Lagonis takes out Hyper, so no, the Aruni is not going to be a significant factor here. Panbazou's been down as well by Levy, so BC DZ will need to clutch up, but he won't do it. Dark Zero gets sent home, and we've got an all-Brazilian semifinal with Team Liquid versus Team One tomorrow.
As well as an all-European semi, and it looks like the two regions have been locked in, Parker. Beautiful win there for Team One. They played some amazing Siege here today.